So in my 2 years of being a university student in the best university of the country, I've learned exactly how to get straight A's in my classes while also reducing the time I need to study for those classes by at least half. And so if you watch until the rest of this video, you're going to learn exactly how to study efficiently while still getting good grades in your classes. And so we're going to do this by what I like to call the 5-step brain optimization system. What I've been noticing is that so much of the studying advice that I've been seeing nowadays online is pretty much just garbage, because everyone tries to be so nice about it. Like, oh, you can have a work-life balance, study-life balance. Like, bro, come on. If you're trying to be the best student, you're going to have to work hard for it, right? But there's no point working too excessively if you don't need to. And so the thing is, I like to treat my brain just the same way I treat my body. If you're going to go work out and you're trying to get bigger, then you need to put yourself in the best conditions in order to actually succeed and optimize your muscle building or your fat loss or whatever it might be. If you're trying to actually optimize your memory and your learning, then you need to optimize your brain. You need to put forth the conditions, the best conditions in order to facilitate that. If you genuinely want to increase your memory, if you're trying to learn something for a test or something, then the first thing you need to do is just study ASAP. And you know what? You might not like this advice, but that's what works. If I had a lecture today about something, right, then I need to study those notes as soon as possible. Ideally, the same night, and you know what? It's fine if you do it the next morning. And you know what? This might sound surprising, but if you start studying something and looking over notes that you went through pretty recently, then you're probably more likely to remember them than if you were to go through them 2 days before the test. So what I'll do is probably just dedicate half an hour to an hour every single weekday, depending on how many lectures I had the previous day, and just go through the notes, just summarize the notes, and not just rely on the slides that were given by the professor or the teacher, but actually just make my own notes. And if you want to take it a step ahead, then you use active recall. You look at the title of the slide and you try to remember everything you talked about. Quiz yourself on what the teacher was talking about yesterday, and that will definitely increase your memory by a bit. But even if you just look over the notes and just re-summarize them, rewrite them, it doesn't take that long, honestly. If you just write the important information, then it will definitely increase your memory, and you'll more likely to actually remember them when you try to study for it on the test. And so step number 2 is kind of related to the first one, but it's called eat the frog. You've probably heard of this if you've listened to like productivity or like business advice, business videos. And so basically what I mean is just do your work first thing in the morning. If it's something that you're actually trying to prioritize, so learning, right? Learning something, actually memorizing something in your brain, then you need to just do it first thing in the morning when you have the most energy, the most focus. If you're doing something at 7 p.m., you're most likely not putting that much energy and focus into the task. And like I said, this video is not going to be some like work-life balance type of video where I'm telling you everything's going to be fine. No, if you're trying to be the best student, then you have to act like the best. You have to put in the effort that correlates with you being the best student. You can't put half an hour into studying every single day and then expect to get 90s and 100s on your classes. There's a reason you're watching this video, because you want to get better grades. And so, put simply, you're going to have to work harder, but there are some steps to actually help you be more efficient with it. And so if you just work first thing in the morning when you have your 100% brain IQ, brain points, or brain power, put that into the tasks that you actually want to prioritize the most. Step number 3, and this is where it gets kind of different from what you usually see from other videos talking about study advice. And this is going to be having a whole food diet. And bro, like I said, if you're trying to work out and build muscle, right? What are you going to do? You're going to put your body in the best conditions in order to do that. And so you're going to do everything in your power to do that. Why do we not treat our brain the same way when we know our nutrition is what supplies the nutrients that our brain uses, right? You're acting like your brain is some spiritual matter. It's a physical matter, and it relies on what you actually supply it with. So if you're eating garbage, your brain's going to be garbage. You wonder why you're always so lethargic and you have brain fog and you can't focus, is because your diet is garbage. If you just ate proper whole foods and avoided all unprocessed foods, I can go really deep with the diet and how to exactly optimize your macronutrients in different different times of the day in order to actually stimulate the best focus. But generally, if you're not having a whole food diet right now, where as in you have unprocessed, as in if there's even one thing in the day, apart from like protein powder or something, that you eat and it has more than one ingredient and it has ingredients that you don't even know the name of, then you're not doing the stuff properly. What I mean is, probably the bread you're eating or the cereal you're eating has like 40 ingredients in it, and some of them are some like benzoates or red 40 or yellow 3. I don't know what type of ingredients they come up with, but if I don't know what that ingredient is and you don't know what that ingredient is, chances are it's probably not good for you. High chances, you know. And so if you just switch to a whole food diet where you make your meals out of like foods that you can actually look at and be like, oh, this is one ingredient. As in like, I grab an avocado and I grab chicken breast and I grab a steak and I grab like an apple. Like I can see what the ingredient is. Not some bread that I got from the supermarket that I have no clue what they put in that, right? Step number 4. Again, this is going to be different, hopefully. But training. You need to freaking move, bro. If you're sitting on your desk all day, you're not going to be a good student. You're generally not going to be a good student. You can't sit on your desk 20 hours a day and then hope that you just become efficient. Like if we were to visualize the average person who spends their whole entire day on the desk, right? It'd probably be some gamer that like has a bad diet and like just has like a rotten brain, bro. Like their brain is probably not even like 30% to their potential. If you move around and if you especially do some type of actual hard training, even if it's like half an hour of like walking or jogging, bro, or resistance training, or even doing some yoga, bro, play a sport, go walk with your friends, bro, do something. Leave the house, fam. Leave the house, bro. There's like way more than enough studies that like show that training actually increases your focus and your working memory. Even without the studies, it should be pretty obvious. And so if you're just being kind of lazy, fam, like if you're not eating properly and you're not training, don't expect to be good at anything in life, honestly. Maybe you'll be good at video games. Apart from that, probably nothing else. And then last step, I think this is probably one of the most important, sleep. And why sleep exactly? Because that's exactly when you make your new neuron connections and when you store information to memory. And this is exactly why studying the whole night before a test and not getting any sleep is doing more harm than good. Because you're studying that information, but when are you going to store it? When are you going to memorize it? You're going to go into the test, you're going to forget everything. You're basically just like a freaking donkey just reading off words off a screen, but then forgetting them as soon as you stop reading them. But if you were to actually give yourself good quality sleep, then you're much more likely to actually memorize something for the test. And what you want to focus on is quality, especially, not just quantity. Sure, you still want to get your like minimum 7-8 hours, even probably 9 hours for a lot of us. But if you focus on the quality, as in, you're not getting strong blue light or just much light in general in the last 2 hours of the day before you sleep, or you're not drinking much water or eating much food like 2 to 3 hours before you sleep, or if you're actually getting sunlight during the day so that you regulate your hormones and your circadian rhythm so that you actually feel sleepy by the time they need to sleep. If you're actually keeping your room at a cold temperature so that it helps you sleep properly and have actual deep sleep where you get REM sleep and all the different stages of non-REM sleep. And this is a whole topic that I can make a whole 30-minute video just by itself. But you just need to know that you need to get quality and quantity of sleep in order to get some type of memory, bro. If you're trying to actually optimize your memory, then you need to sleep. You need to study as soon as possible so that you actually memorize the information. You need to do it first thing in the morning or pretty close to the first thing in the morning so you have the most energy and focus for it. You need to have a whole food diet so that you actually supply your brain with the nutrients it needs to do the stuff that it does. You need to train so that you provide more blood flow into your brain so that it's stimulated more, and you need to sleep in order to make the new connections in your brain in order to memorize the information you need for the test. But this is just an overview of the 5-step optimization system in order to become a more efficient student. And that's exactly how I reduced my study time by like at least half from what it used to be like 2 years ago, let's say. You need to be smart about the timing of when you study and exactly how you study. But if you get good at that, then you kind of just play school and just learning on easy mode. But yeah, hope that helped. Just get to work, bro.